Welcome to your 15-minute hip stretching routine. We're going to start off using a stool. I'm going to be using a couch. Feel free to use a chair instead that is well padded. I like to use the couch. I do most of my stretching here in the living room in the evening as I'm winding down at the end of the day. I get incense going, lavender incense, the Calm app playing some relaxing music. It just sets the tone for a nice relaxing way to wind down at the end of the day. So I've got my one leg outside of the stool in front of me. This leg is extended straight back. I'm going to focus on driving this hip straight down. So I'm stretching across the front of my body here. I'm going to get the timer going. We're going to hold this stretch for 3 minutes. This is going to stretch your psoas muscle, which connects from your thigh bone up to your spine here. When that is tight or shortened, it can cause some low back stiffness, low back tightness, sometimes lower back pain. So it's really great to stretch that muscle out. Also stretching the rectus femoris, one of the heads of the quadricep muscles there that crosses the hip joint. So if this stretch, this position right here is a little too intense for you, I encourage you to ease off by lowering your forearms down on the stool. But if it does feel comfortable, you're going to get a great stretch by holding your body upright. I'm barely applying any kind of weight on this foot here. I'm barely trying to hold myself up with my arms, just using them as a kickstand. Most of my weight is on this leg here. I'm trying to drive that hip down, but I'm not forcing it down. The really important thing when it comes to stretching like this is to relax into these poses, melt into them, allow yourself to sink into them. So you really want to try to calm your breath. I like to take a nice slower inhale, 4 seconds in, and a really slow exhale, maybe 8 seconds on the way out. Always doing a body scan. The thing that you want to be aware of is, are you tensing any muscles, especially in the lower body right here? If you feel anything tense in, especially this right side, right now we're stretching this leg out. We're not trying to stretch this side out much. You might feel a little something in here, but the main focus is on that back leg. So if you're tensing any muscle in that thigh, you're pushing it a little bit too hard. So try to, as you're doing a scan of your body, focus on relaxing those muscles. The key to improving your flexibility is to hold these stretches for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. We're going to hold each of them for 3 minutes today. Feel free to extend it to 5 minutes. But you want to focus on relaxing. And the more you relax, the more you're going to be able to sink into these poses and stretch deeper than if you're trying to force yourself into. And that's been the biggest eye-opening experience for me since incorporating some of these flexibility work into my training. The yin yoga style of stretching here has been to relax. I always used to try to force the stretches, thinking that I should be reaching as hard as I can, and that's going to be the key to getting more flexible, to getting more limber and more mobile. And that's simply not the case. So if you're feeling any tension, ease off, like hold yourself, like again, drop down to your elbows. That's it for this side here. Good timing there as I look down. So you're can get up if you need to kind of shake your legs out for a second, go for it. But if you're ready, you can hit pause and just shake it out for a little bit. Now we're gonna come back and do the other side, get the timer going. And once again, one leg on the outside of the stool, this leg extended straight back behind me. The pressure is coming down through my hip here, down to the floor. If this is too intense by being fully upright like this, I'm just using my arms as a kickstand. My arms can flail around here. There's not a lot of weight on them. There's not a lot of weight on this leg in front, but if it's still too intense, just come down to your elbows. The more relaxed you are, whatever position gets you in a state where you're feeling the most relaxed, that's going to help you get the most out of these stretches here. Because even down on my elbows, my forearms, I still feel that stretch across the front side of my body where the psoas connects to the thigh here, back into the back. So I'm feeling this whole area is stretching out. That's really what we're going for here. I really want you to try to relax. Do a scan of your body. Feel tension. Let the tension go. What can you do to relax those muscles? Just ease off a little bit. I did a little scan, and right away I felt a little bit of tension on the inner thighs, contracting those muscles a little bit. Now I'm going to relax them by focusing on my breath. It's like every breath out, you tend to be able to sink a little bit deeper, and it just calms you. I think that's the key. That's the beauty of doing these kinds of stretches at night. Not only is it opening up my hips, but it's also calming my mind. It's calming my body and preparing it for a great night's sleep, a good restorative, restful sleep here. The way I like to do these hip opening routines for myself is to focus on, these are the hip flexor muscles, like the psoas is one of the hip flexors, the rectus femoris is one of the hip flexor muscles. I like to start with that to open things up, and then I move on to the outer aspect of the hips and glutes, and then I finish off with the inner thighs. I find that incorporating them all into a routine to open up my hips is the most beneficial overall. You're kind of covering all of your bases there, and we're approaching 20 seconds left on this side, so just try to relax into it. This last 20 seconds, it could just be one breath. And with that final breath, as you're letting it out, you're just sinking deeper and deeper. So that is going to end the hip flexor stretch there. I'm going to push this stool off to the side. Next up, we're going to move into the shoelace pose. Now, we're going to be stretching the outer aspect of our hips there. If you're tight, I'm really tight in the outer aspect of my hips there, probably from years of hockey and sports, athletics, sitting, all that kind of stuff. I find the easiest way to get into this pose is on all fours here. I'm going to bring one knee up in front of me, bring the other knee back behind me. So I'm tucking it right behind the other knee. And now, ideally, you want to get to the position where you're able to sit if I'm trying to sit my butt on the floor right here, you see how my knee popped up? That's okay, but I prefer to get into this position, and I'm going to utilize a block here. I'm going to start it off in this position, and again, based on my mobility, my flexibility up to this point, and I'm going to set it down behind me, underneath both butt cheeks here, so my hips are square. Notice how I'm kind of trying to keep both feet out at the side. The knees are stacked up on top of each other, so that's the key here. I'm going to be feeling the stretch in the outer hips. I'm going to try to, in this position, hit the timer first, 3 minutes. Relax. So starting in this position, if you're really tight, this is going to be challenging enough with a block underneath you. You might feel some tension in those muscles. Right away, the first thing you want to do is to try to relax and ease that tension. And it's going to start with focusing on your breath, and each breath out, sinking just a little bit deeper. The goal is going to be to fold forward a little bit. So you can use like a cushion. If you can get low enough, put that in front of you and rest your forearms on it. I've got another smaller size stool here that I can place in front of me and rest my forearms here. So stretching forward a little bit, you're going to feel a little bit different kind of a stretch in the outer hips here. But for me, one of the first things I'm going to notice is as the more relaxed I am, I've got a good stat going here. I feel myself sinking down. So I'm utilizing that block. A lot of people think that if they allow their hips to kind of stay up, they can feel that tension. You feel all the tension in the hips there. Your hips are just hanging up in the air like, oh, I feel that stretch. It's got to be working. it's counterintuitive, but you want to sit on something. You're better off to put a prop underneath you, whether it's a pillow or a block, to kind of allow yourself to relax better. The more I relax, now I'm going to drop it down to like a lower position, the flat position here. And because I have allowed myself to relax that first minute and a half into this stretch, I've loosened up, I can sit deeper and my knee isn't popping up to this point. So now I'm going to, and I can actually lean right forward. I'm not trying to force it. I'm resting on my forearms, resting my chin on my knee here. And so resting my chin on my knee is giving an even better stretch in the back. And ideally, if you can, get your hips right down. So now at this point, I couldn't, like you saw when I first tried to sit up, my knee was popped right up. Now I've got my butt on the floor. I can lean forward, rest my chin on my knee and relax. Don't force it. This is the key, is to, if you feel any kind of tension, ease off. You want to try to relax and melt into these poses. Focus on your breath. Breathing out and sinking deeper. So that's it for that side. We're going to shift over to the other side. So I like to crawl forward, bring my knee out from behind me. If you need to walk it out, you can walk this out like a down dog. Just pedal your feet a little bit here. And now I'm going to bring the opposite knee in front, crossing those legs, try to get myself in a comfortable position here. Again, knowing I'm going to need that block in the higher position to start off. Place that under my butt, hit the start time. First thing I'm going to do here, relax. Sink into this block here. Allow myself to get comfortable. You should feel pretty comfortable in these poses. This is my biggest challenge, this pose to begin with. I couldn't stand shoelace. I was just so tight, so stiff. It wasn't until I started utilizing props like blocks and pillows to help me get into these positions that I was able to like fully experience the benefits from them here. But it's really breath. It's so much easier when you're not talking to a camera to relax your muscles. So I'm relaxing my stomach. I'm relaxing all my lower body here. Like you can feel the tension, but if you breathe into it, like take a nice big deep breath in, with your breath out, try to just sink in lower. It's already so much easier. So I'm going to drop this block. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to start off with the bench in front of me a little bit here. This makes it easy to just kind of stay seated back, seated down. Makes it easy for me to relax those hip muscles while I've got deeper into this stretch. Remove that stool, come down a little bit lower, and breathe. You really should be able to feel your body when you're taking those nice, slow, relaxing breaths out. You should be able to like visually see and feel your body sinking deeper. I'm going to remove that block completely. this hip, this side's a little bit tighter, so my butt is hanging a little bit up in the air at this point. Might be ideal to kind of like slide a little towel below me. Definitely feeling that stretch in these last few seconds. And on to one more stretch here. So now we're going to stretch out the inner thighs. Benches out of the way. We're going to do a frog stretch here. So for the frog stretch, frog pose, you may find using a mat, a cushion, towels underneath will be beneficial. You want your feet out, kicking outside of your knees here. And you may find it easier just holding yourself up in this upright position. You want your hips to be in alignment with your knees here, so you're not coming too far forward. It's going to defeat the purpose. You want your hips back, and you may find instead of being up on your hands, you're going to, a bench might be easier. Let me hit that timer. 3 minutes here once again. So you may want to start off here in this position, or you may want to drop down to your forearms in this position. And again, it's always better to start off. You don't want to be too aggressive at the start. You don't want to get into the deepest stretch right out of the gates. You want to work yourself into that point, ease yourself to that point, melt yourself to that point. I can feel, as I'm breathing here, I can feel my knees sliding out a little bit more. They're opening up a little bit more each time. And I find it's really fascinating when you do these body scans, when you're focused on your breath, you discover that you're holding tension that you didn't realize before. For me, it's like doing the frog pose. Yeah, my inner thighs were trying to play defense mode. Like they're trying to stay tight when you want to relax them. But I noticed that it was like my abdomen, my core was like really engaged. And once I learned to relax the stomach muscles, the core muscles there, it really helped other aspects open up. So I encourage you, let's take a deep breath in and a slow exhale out. Do a body scan and see, are you contracting any muscles? Are you contracting your outer thighs, inner thighs, abdomen? Like what is tense, what is tight? So let's do that now and do a scan of your body. Just take a deep breath in and out. And even for us guys, it's amazing as we're doing these scans of our body, you realize like even testicles, like everything when you're contracting your abdomen, contracting your pelvic floor, different muscles that you're holding tension when you want to just be relaxing. If you want to gain the biggest bang for your buck from your stretching routine, you've got to learn how to relax into these stretches. And this is just a part of the routine. I like when it comes to improving mobility and flexibility, I think holding these longer stretches for 3 to 5 minutes is incredibly beneficial. When you combine them with doing some other mobility drills where it's like you're moving your body, you're challenging your body. It's not just holding the stretches, it's more dynamic. And including your weight training sessions, working through that full range of motion. And that is 3 minutes there. So ease yourself into this, pushing yourself up slowly but surely. Bring your knees in a little bit together, loosening yourself up, like kind of rocking around here. Stretch yourself out, whatever you need. Again, you can hold these stretches for upwards of 5 minutes each. I think this is a solid routine to open up your hips. And I'd love to hear from you if you incorporate these on a daily basis, the improvements that you experience in your entire hip area. It's talking like hip flexor area in the front, the outer aspects of your hips and your glutes, as well as the inner thighs here, what kind of relief you experience when you fully commit to just like 15 to 20 minutes a day of stretching. It's a great way, again, ending your day, winding down at the end of the day to prepare you to wind down and relax into a deep night's sleep. I'd love to hear how you benefit from these by incorporating it on a daily basis as part of your overall routine.